Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. This is the regular Space Junkie Takeover. Welcome, everybody, on board. I hope you've been waiting for this stream because we have. And let's see what happened. Well, on one side, there's a lot happened on Starbase, and on the other side, not that much. But we are going to talk about it anyway. Hi, David. How are you doing?
Hello everyone, nice to be back here again.
And now let's cover what was going on first on Starbase. Let's just quickly run through. We always start at Massey's, then we go to the production site, and then we end up on the launch site. And then we are going to talk about the shenanigans that's unfolding basically about Flight
Behind the
5.
scenes.
Absolutely. And the plans about in 2 years cargo Starship landing on Mars and things like this. Please tell us your comments on any topic. Just feel free to ask. And obviously, if you know anything, we will try to answer your questions. Okay. So let's see what's going on at Massey's.
All right. So finally, this nice tropical storm passed away.
Yay!
I guess the life was coming back to Starbase on Wednesday, and from that we could see anything because maybe you remember who have watched last time. We couldn't see
Terrible.
anything. It was so terrible that it was foggy, rainy, all of the bad things. But now you can see
Like the movie title, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
yeah, kind of, yes. Okay, but finally we can see nice views around the Starbase, and as Sabi mentioned, we started the Masseys. Currently, this test area is quite silent, so there is nothing much going on right now. But there was a Ship 31 test on the weekend again, but it was a kind of a copy of the previous test because on one hand we haven't seen anything exciting, and on the other hand we have no infos and no clues what was going on. So what kind of test SpaceX has done. So either it was aborted spin prime or aborted static fire. We don't know because as you know, SpaceX doesn't need any road closure notice or any overpressure notice if they doing anything on the Massey test side. That's the one big advantage from their point. From our point is a disadvantage because we just can't prepare that some tests will be coming. So yeah, anyway, the Ship 31 has been tested once again, but it was, as I mentioned, kind of it looked like an aborted test again. Of course,
Cool.
we don't know the reason behind it, but yeah, it was kind of an aborted test. Hopefully, the next one will be much more exciting, at least a spin prime test, or they will do a nice static fire with all of the 6 Raptor engines. We will see it. And yeah, you can see there are some heat tiles missing, but S31 has still a lot of time to prepare herself to the flight 6 because this S31 will be the second stage of the flight 6. But we will cover this nice. I wouldn't say nice topic, but the flight 5 is still most away. Unfortunately, we have a new guest. Hello,
Hello,
bird.
birdie.
How's it going?
Yeah, it sums up the environmental situation there.
Yeah.
What we will
Okay,
talk
so
a bit later.
let's finish the topic about S31, and we can
Yeah,
move
yeah,
on.
yeah. I mean, I think that's all we can say about that. Yeah, this
Yeah,
in a
about that.
Forrest Gump style. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, and turning to the test tank 16, there is nothing too much talking about because
Still there.
yeah, it's still there in the cage or in the test article, and yeah, there is nothing much happening with it. There wasn't any structural test on last week, but before 2 weeks ago there was a cryogenic test with liquid nitrogen, but since then there was nothing happened. So
Okay.
we're just still waiting to
I
to happening
I can
something.
show a very important event that happened just at the border of the Masseys. Look, the fish is going crazy. Look at that. Honestly, that's wild. Fishes are flying over there.
They want to reach the space as well.
Anyway, right. Okay, let's go to the production site because there's some other things going on. I mean, there's not a whole lot of things that we can mention there, but still, there are a couple of things we can sum up.
Mm.
Let's start with Sanchez, just briefly here.
Yeah, just briefly that maybe yeah, I guess it was 2 weeks ago then where when we could show some flyover photos and yeah, there is a new area building up, which the rumor has it that there will be the construction of the new mobile launch table or orbital launch mount. We don't know what's going on or what will be going on because last week the only thing happened that new four new footings has arrived have arrived there, and they just prepared to install it to these new footings which were poured a couple of weeks ago. It is actually on the right side of the Sanchez where this area starting actually next to this white building, but we still don't know what's the plan of the SpaceX here. So we have to be patient and wait a couple of weeks because when the new structural things arriving, then maybe we will have more clue what's actually will be built here. But so far we can't see anything
Yeah.
exciting there, just the footings.
Hmm.
And moving on to or do you want to talk about the new parking lot, Sabi, or
Yeah, there
we
is no
shouldn't
live
skip
program
it?
without the parking lot. No, 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 no. We never skip the parking lot. Come on, man. It's sacred. Uh, so it's coming nicely together. We have some nice photos of the parking lot. What I really like is that how this area is clearing up from cars. Look at that. Can you see? You can't see it. It's not there. They are all moving inside the parking lot, which is great. So yeah, it's we always mention this that it's nicely coming together. It really
Mhm.
start looking like a beautiful place where they are actually making rockets. It's like a proper rocket factory. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
just beautiful.
Okay,
Okay.
so moving on to the base, or yeah, we can skip the rocket garden because nothing happened there.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And in topics of the base, still the high bay is still empty, so nothing much talk about it. And the Mega Bay 1, Mega Bay 2, yeah, as well, nothing news. So the life is going on inside the Mega Bay 1 and 2. So, but because of most of the time is the doors are closing, we can't see anything from inside. So that's why we have no information what's going on actually in the Mega Bay 1. But maybe the booster 15 has been already stacked all together. So the methane and the oxygen tank sections as well. And maybe there are already four full-size boosters inside the Mega Bay 1, but as I mentioned, we don't know because as you can see on this photo, it's half closed, this Mega Bay 1 door as well. So yeah, no looking inside, unfortunately. And the Mega Bay 2 has the ship 33 as still. And the only one thing which I can't forget, the one of the aft flaps have been moved inside the Mega Bay 2. So
Mm,
the
awesome.
S33 maybe gets in these days or these hours, maybe it's her first aft flap, and the other one will coming soon as well. And then we can say that all of the structure of the S33 has been finished. But that's
Hmm.
all.
That's
And
all, folks.
that's all,
Um,
folks. Yes, as
also, we're gonna cover the new office building that's coming together really nicely. I mean, we were just discussing it before the show. That
yeah,
I
it will be a
mean,
beautiful building.
it is already a
Is
beautiful
already, yes,
building.
already
Yeah.
it is.
Once they are finishing fitting the glasses or the glass panels to the side to this connection bit, then it really is going to look like, with even with the car park, and this dark color is dominating now the landscape. And from above, we can't show you now, but once there will be a flyover, hopefully we are going to have some nice flyover photos from above. It really looks so nice and so decent. I can't praise it enough that it's just aesthetically it's just pleasing. Obviously, it just looks so lovely.
Yeah, and there is still a big question mark whether the inside, of course, we can see from this point of view currently, but maybe you know that there is a C-shaped building coming along with this new office building. But the rumor has it that all of the inside of this area, which is already the the property of the SpaceX, finally, maybe they will build in all together. So maybe they will connect it, this new office building, with the Star Factory all together. So it won't be only a quite narrow connection, which is currently built, as you can see on this photo. So not only there won't be any narrow connection, but all of the inner side of this building will be connected all together with the Star Factory. But we will see, and as always, we have to be patient on this as
And
well.
probably one more thing, just on the side note, that there is this new cutout that had now these two doors fitted, so it's coming nicely together. So this is basically when you walk in. Obviously, we can't walk in, but when workers
Theoretically.
yeah, when workers are driving in, on the left you have all the bays, and on the right you have the Star Factory, and basically as you're approaching Mega Bay 2, it's on the right before you hit Mega Bay 2. So it's a nice cutout. Yeah, they're just finishing this, but it's nothing massive, I mean, nothing new or very exciting. It's just we just thought that it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, and it was cut out after the Star Factory. I mean, this side of the Star Factory has been built.
Yep.
So yes, so it's on the opposite side of the base. All right, so I guess we can move to the launch side because there is nothing much talk about on the production side.
Okay.
And
I
and
don't
then
have
that.
aerial photos. We are just going to show you ground photos. So tell me what you're gonna start with, tower one or tower.
Let's talk about first pad A. So
Okay.
moving on alphabetically,
Yep.
and you can see that there is not still tons of work happening around the chopsticks, or it has a new nickname, Frankenstick, because as you can, or just you look at it, how strange it looks like currently, with full of rust and things all around. But yeah, hopefully they will be painting when all the works are finished with the chopstick design change, I would say. So, but of course, it's not from design point, but the structural strengthening and the movement, smoother, make it smoother movements. The chopsticks mainly closing and opening movements. So they are still they are still trying to prepare as much as possible to the catching attempt of Booster 12 on Flight 5, but there are still a lot of time. We will cover this topic quite soon, in a couple of minutes, I guess. And you can see
The padding, it looks amazing. I mean, it looks such a pleasant job when you look at it. I
yeah,
don't
it
know.
has
Is
been
it
painted as
finished?
well. Pardon?
Oh, yeah, they painted it.
Yeah, because originally they were white, but of course, as
White or
always,
like metallic?
yes, but a brighter. They had a brighter color, but they painted like in, I guess it's black or dark gray. I don't know from this point, but yeah, it looks quite nice.
Yep. And
And the
I think this is, and just one, sorry, just this is from the outside, right? So this is
yes,
from the other side, yeah. And they're still,
yeah.
I
Let me
mean,
think,
just
but yeah,
the size of a human, the scale is unreal.
These are the catching rails actually,
Mhm.
rail. So yeah, it's in open position quite currently. So actually the matching the fitting points of the fitting pins of the boosters shall be connecting with this rail.
Gotcha. Okay. Right.
Okay, so yeah, the Franken sticks have still lots of things to do. We don't know yet whether the booster 14.1 will be a catching test with the chopsticks, but first SpaceX has to finish the constructions of or the strengthening things, and then we'll see if any catching attempt will or catching test will be coming or not. But as you can see, I don't know how much or how many lifting or how many lifts are here, but
cherry pickers.
pardon?
Cherry pickers.
The cherry pickers, yeah, they have these nicknames as cherry pickers. So maybe all around the state of Texas will has been gathering here. So
Maybe. Yeah. They rented out all of them.
all the lifts are here currently. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, we're gonna come back to this point how ready they really are for Flight 5
Yeah.
because I have some opinion about that. Um, I got some
And
nice photos I need to flash
mhm.
quickly because that's our photographer Jordan is taking really nice photos. Also Hoppy is here before we go to Tower 2. So
Mhm.
Hopi is looking really nice at its new place. Hopefully it's a quieter retirement place. Now it can really enjoy its retirement and just yeah, I mean it's such a great site when you arrive to the launch site as a visitor. You know it's there at its all beauty, so it's not covered by the wall. And you know when we were there 2 years ago, that was the case. Now it's not anymore. It's completely exposed to anyone who visiting Starbase.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hoppy greets everyone who is joining the launch site actually.
I mean, what else? I mean, what else can anybody wish when you arrive here?
Yeah.
Okay. Tower 2.
Yes. So as you can see, this giant crane has been lowered. I guess yeah, it was already before the tropical storm. On one hand, because of the storm itself, but on the other hand, because of the reconstruction or yeah, how would I say it? Because of the length is changing of the crane because
The length.
the length is
They're gonna
changing.
shorten it because they don't need to. They don't need this long configuration.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So the reconfiguration of the giant crane is happening right now. So as you can see, it's much shorter as previously when the tower segments has been built or has been raised. So actually, this crane is needed of the chopstick construction and I guess for the new orbital launch mount. But for these operations, SpaceX needs it much shorter crane. And yeah, I won't go into physics, but you know that the shorter is the better in this case. So
And
because of the
also,
lift, yeah,
yeah,
because
just
of the lift.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, because of the lifting physics, the shorter crane is more optimal for these constructions.
So the last week's Friday episode, Felix was mentioning that they're gonna take off some of the weights as well because they are the things they're gonna lift. They don't need that many weights on the crane itself because these
You mean
new
the counterweights?
the counterweights, yes,
Mm,
because the chopsticks they are not as heavy as the tower segment, so
yeah.
they're just gonna balance it out
Mm.
nicely. Yeah. So when do we think he's gonna come up back online?
Uh,
Anytime or
I would say this week, but because of the chopsticks won't be installed, I don't know, a couple of months. So that's why this screen is not needed currently.
Okay.
So I don't know when it will be raised up again.
Whenever it's gonna be raised, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, the tower construction is still going on. However, the segments has been stacked together, but it's only from outside because they have to actually pour concrete from the inside of the columns to make it more strength, and it's going on currently. And yeah, the base of the base of the tower is still in construction, and the drawworks haven't arrived yet. But that's why it's only half or partially built or covered, because the drain works, the drain works will be coming here, which is the drawworks. Sorry, yeah, the drawworks will be coming here, which is actually the safest area of the tower, because on the other side will be the orbital launch mount or platform. We don't know whether it will be a mount or just a platform, but this is the opposite side of the actually the orbital launch table side. And that's why when the drawworks are coming, then after it, I guess all of these things will be covered with these things. I don't know
The
how to say it
covers.
in English.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
with the
covered
covers.
with the
Yeah,
covers.
yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Okay. So yeah, and yeah, as I mentioned, we don't know anything about the new orbital launch mount or platform or table. So we haven't seen any part of it. So we just don't know whether it will be a mount. So it will be
Maybe there won't be any mounts.
or it will be a ground thing, and only the flame trench will be under this platform. So we don't know anything about it, but we are very curious what's the plan around here, and maybe on the next flyover pics we will see much more, because from from this point of view, unfortunately we can't see, but the actually the sheet piling is almost finished. So the contour of the new flame trench is almost done, and this is a good thing, because the next phase will be the other ground works, and after it we will know at least the shape of the whole flame trench, whether it will be one direction or two directions, exiting points. So yeah. So a couple of weeks later, we will be more clever, I guess, around this topic. Okay, so that was actually the Starbase itself for this week, but of course we won't finish the show yet, because there are some other topics.
We're not going anywhere yet. Right. Let's start. I think let's start with the sensational news. Is that Elon Musk just told us that
Yeah.
in 2 years he is expecting the first cargo Starship to arrive and land on Mars, which, well,
Just launched, not arriving, just launching.
just launch. Okay. It's, well, tell us first of all what you think, because I think it's very interesting. And before and in the meantime, you are telling us what you think. I would like to urge you to hit a like if you like what you hear. Also, subscribe to not just to the main channel but to Y Plus, because as you can see now we have these new videos started again, and it's called, what is it called? Anyway, yeah, no comment. Thank you. No comment. So this kind of new videos are back again. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on this new channel. We just surpassed 18,000 subscribers. So
Yeehaw!
let's keep pushing on, because it's a cool one. Also, I would like to remind you to become a member, channel member on any channels, or just support the channel on Patreon, because your support really goes a long way. Also, on Tuesdays and Fridays, Felix is coming with the 2 regular episodes. the Friday one, last Friday, was really full of really good information. And partially we're
Mhm.
going to cover that because he told us, as always, some really good information about this topic. So we were just talking about going to Mars, but for SpaceX to be able to go to Mars, a couple of things should be first sorted because there are some things going on in the background, and now it's coming to the foreground. Actually, they were putting out an update on SpaceX's own website, and they were going into
Sorry,
details.
just let me interrupt you that there is an additional info that on one hand there will be the first cargo ship to the Mars in 2026, but the first crewed Starship will be
I
in
don't know if,
2028.
but is it worth mentioning? Honestly, it's
Yes, because it's it's so
even
damn
the
in unreal time schedule that even in Elon time is impossible. But
well,
it was worth to
precisely.
mention, I guess.
It is, but because the first date is so, I don't know, sensational, and it seems like it lacks all the bases. Really, it's just okay. I know it's Elon time, and I have to highlight that on our channel we just put out in Hungarian, sadly, but we were putting out a shorts video in which we were live streaming Polaris Dawn, and we found a piece of footage when we were live streaming Inspiration 4, and we were saying to our audience, our Hungarian audience, that it's quite impossible that in a short period of time SpaceX is going to be able to do an EVA from a Dragon. And in 3 years they completely made a fool out of us because they developed the the EVA suit it's required, and they actually improved the Dragon the way that it was possible, and it just did happen. So anything that we are going to say right here right now in this episode, I have to say that we're talking about SpaceX, and despite I am skeptical, and maybe we are skeptical. David usually tend to be less skeptical about this kind of things. I tend to be more skeptical about these kind of things related to SpaceX and what's in the pipeline in the future. I have to say that anything can happen. When it's SpaceX, really anything can happen in the future. So, okay, let's kick.
But for the in this topic, I say as well that is impossible to launch the first Starship in 2026 to Mars.
Absolutely. Yeah. 2 years in Elon time. Yes, RP1. Okay. So they put out let's start, apologies. Let's start with the SpaceX update
Okay.
because they went into details. Basically, first they are praising their own track record, what they achieved with Falcon 9, how successful the development of Falcon 9 is, and how crazy the Falcon 9 cadence is. And they kind of started complaining about all the things are going on. Just interrupt me if you want to say anything, David. So basically, let's start with the beginning. There are a couple of things that will prevent Flight 5 to go ahead this month. They go even further. It looks like it's gonna happen at the second half of November, which is, if that happens, that it means it's gonna be as much gap between Flight 4 and Flight 5 than between IFT 1 or Flight 1 and IFT 2 Flight 2, which is around 6 months, which is a huge gap. And so far this year, we only had 2 launches, which is really not a lot.
Yeah, they planned
So,
5 launches for this year, and only 2 happened so far. So
exactly.
it's not a good pace.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Um, so first of all, so they are mentioning a couple of reasons why there are some sort of investigation, mainly from FAA. There, and there is an open sort of discussion which takes 60 days to certain topic. One topic is that the hot staging ring. So okay, before I go into this, let's highlight that SpaceX has a bulk permission to launch missions like Flight 4 right after each other. So they don't need any special permission to keep on repeating the same flight as Flight 4. So SpaceX willingly decided that they are going to change this, and they are going to go for a catch attempt in Flight 5, as we all know, and we all find it really crazy and quite unbelievable. Because they decided so, FAA stated that they need to do a reassessment on certain things, like the hot staging ring is going to fall back into a different area. That's already a reason, we don't know why, but it's already a reason that they need to reassess where the hot staging is going to hit the ocean, which is, I personally find it pretty stupid. Also, they say that they need to do an assessment on how sonic boom is affecting the wildlife as the booster is going to return. Strange, because they already done all these assessments to Flight 4 and now they say that they need to do it again. So that's probably for a lot of people a reason to kind of have a beef with FAA, to start disliking FAA. And also, I think the biggest problem is the pollution, right? Because they got a fine of $148,378 by the Environmental Protection Agency. That doesn't seem like a huge fine, but I think what it brings up is that what's industrial water, how it
Yeah, the
needs to be
wastewater, yeah.
waste. Yep, thank you. And also how it needs to be dealt with. It's coming by the water deluge system, and I will just quote a little bit from Felix, because the question is that is SpaceX releasing harmful toxins to the environment by the deluge system? It's a fair question, I think, because if they do, they definitely need to be dealt with and they need to do something about it. But since it's a methane rocket and the Starship just simply burns it off almost completely, and there is no harmful contamination apart from a bit of soot. We can ask that what kind of pollution they are really thinking about. And CNBC was actually promoting some sort of values, contamination values, and it looks like it's not valid, but weirdly, SpaceX did not sue them. So if it's so false, why SpaceX did not go and sue them for basically damaging their project and the reputation of SpaceX, right?
Yeah, but I guess CNBC corrected that article later, and that's why
Okay.
they haven't been sued.
Okay. Suit or sued? It was a joke.
Oh.
Also, sorry. Also, let's not forget that this is not Florida, and Starship does not have any solid rocket boosters. We all know the solid rocket boosters are nasty ones. So these are the chemicals that's coming at the bottom, at the flamey end. That's not nice. This is not the case here in Starbase. So I think we are all kind of asking that what's going on and why this issue is brought up. And Flight 5, to be fair, the root cause is really the fact that SpaceX is not keeping itself to the original plan. And it looks like they are kind of trying to blame FAA. I don't know if you want to cut in or shall I continue? Because
No, I'm thinking about what to say because it's so
okay.
unreal. This whole behind the scenes. So yeah.
Yeah, before the rage begins on FAA, let me really clarify that FAA, in my opinion, is really trying to have a really good working relationship with SpaceX, and the proof of that is the cadence of the Falcon 9 rockets. They really don't mess around with the cadence. We can see SpaceX is launching them every week, multiple ones, and not too long ago, when the second stage blew up on orbit, 16 days that it took to sort out the issues, not months, 16 days. So that's despite they say that FAA is a very rigorous system and they need to be renewed from within because it's not up for the 21st century's challenges. I would say that they still really, really rapid in this terms and in this
And
case.
yeah, if we think about the latest or the last,
Mhm.
I would say, accident of Falcon 9 when the first stage couldn't coming back properly, it was I guess 48 hours investigation only, and only
Yes.
after 2 days the Falcon 9 has has get
Returned. Mhm.
has returned
Service. Mhm.
to the service, yeah, and SpaceX has come got again the launch license. Yes, and it was only 2 days, and
Yes.
just show us anything else where only the investigation took only 2 days. So it's
Actually, the
quite an
investigation itself, the mishap investigation is still ongoing,
oh yes,
but because it's not directly affecting the service of the Falcon 9, that's why they allowed it. It's not a critical failure. It is
that's
a
true. Yes,
failure, and the landing is now part. I think there was an agreement in 2021, I think.
yes,
Yep.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah, which SpaceX happily signed that landing is part of the mission. So if
Mm.
anything goes wrong with landing, they still need to conduct FAA must conduct a mishap investigation. So yeah, so I don't think that FAA is trying to block Starship from actually going ahead. Nobody told SpaceX to improve or change your flight plan. And this has been my opinion for quite a few weeks now, that I find it absolutely unnecessary to go for Flight 5 catch attempt. Why don't you just fly it, get some more data? You got the hardware there. It's ready since they were stating it's ready since the beginning of August. But as we were mentioning Tower 1, is it really ready for Flight 5? I don't think so. Why the heck?
Currently,
All the cherry
currently
pickers
no.
from Texas is there.
Yeah, the hardware in point of the hardware. So the Booster 12 and the Ship 30 is actually ready, but since they are trying to prepare for the catch attempt, of course the infrastructure of the Tower 1 and the OLM and the chopstick itself, it's not ready. But since the FAA actually offered a faster launch license for the Flight 5 already, and it was actually written inside that if SpaceX wouldn't change the mission profile, the Flight 5 could come quite fast after the Flight 4. But since SpaceX has actually changed quite a lot after the Flight 4 plans to be mentioning this catch attempt, it's a so big change that that's why SpaceX needs an modified launch license for Flight 5. But they calculated that the FAA would finish every paperwork until middle of September, so around this time. But after then, some other agency was coming up because of this pollution and this whole water deluge system thing. And yet, in the center of the debate is the water deluge system, and not because the contamination of the water, but it's the volume of the water itself. So that's because, as you can see, there are no walls around this orbital launch mount. The wastewater, because it's an industrial wastewater, even if it's a drinking water, as Elon and SpaceX mentioned as well. This area, Starbase area, is an industrial area. That's why everything, even if it's drinking water, has to be mentioned as industrial wastewater. And because of there are no walls all around the OLM, all of the wastewater was just flooding the nearby area.
Yeah.
And that's the main problem of this this Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, so TCEQ. Maybe you heard about them already. So currently, not only the FAA or not the FAA are the bad guys, but these TCEQ guys, because they were coming up with this debate, and that's why FAA was thinking, okay, then look inside the details, and since there are lots of things to check, we can't. I just talking from the side of the FAA currently. So FAA can't give the launch license until end of November, so more than 2 months from now, the launch license, because there is a 60 days, I guess, 60 days investigation time, and in during this time, these TCQ guys and of course the FAA can just look into the details and thinking about, okay, that everything is okay, all right, and SpaceX will do everything correctly. But the whole thing is very strange, because SpaceX thought that because they got the license, the working license or operating license for the water delivery system itself in 2023, they thought, okay, then this topic is finished, it's already covered, everything is all right, and there won't be any more problem with it. But currently, last week, the problem was coming up again, and it's very strange that why now, and why after so many tests, why after two flights, because the water delivery system was used already for the flight 3, and after for flight 4 as well again,
Plus
and
all the
why
tests. Plus all the
plus the
tests. Yeah.
plus the tests, and why this TCQ was coming up with this debate currently, and why they want to look into the details right now, and the problem, why the problem was becoming a big problem right now. So the delivery system is under fire actually from all around, and and SpaceX actually doesn't or don't the guys of the SpaceX don't understand what's going on and why they were fined. Of course, what Szabi mentioned, this amount, this almost $150,000 were has been paid already. But anyway, these 60 days of investigation is still going on, and after the 60 days, the TCQ can decide that again 60 days more time they
They can
need.
keep on renewing it and delaying it.
So this bureaucracy is quite disappointing from my point of view, I guess.
It is, but to be fair, on the other hand, so because that's the problem, that here's a story, and as always, it has the coin has two sides, and on one side, we want SpaceX to proceed, but we can see that SpaceX is doing some weird things as well. Honestly, this update, anybody can read it on the SpaceX website. What else if not putting pressure by tuning the public against FAA and all the authorities? But on the other hand, they need to be more flexible as well. Somebody just raised on one of the social media platforms, if Kennedy Space Center was about to being built today, most likely it would never go ahead,
Yes.
because the environmental issues and requirements, there's no chance you could build the Kennedy Space Center as it is today, because the
The whole
environmental.
whole Space Coast actually
Exactly.
couldn't operate right now currently.
Exactly, but on the other hand, if you see that there is a massive race now, highlighting between China and America, and how is it going ahead, and Artemis program is getting really delayed by all these shenanigans. Now you raise the question that, okay, what the heck is gonna happen? Because on one hand, a tiny minority of environmental groups cannot hold the whole project hostage. And at the moment, it's not really going ahead as it's supposed to be going ahead. I mean, it's nonsense that 6 months has passed. But in the same time, SpaceX need to be more consistent and not. I understand they pushing the envelope. They are trying to really reach higher and more serious goals. But I'm sorry, this is now just plain stupid in my eyes. They could have launched it already, right? In the beginning of August. And now we are here passing mid September, and it looks like for another 2 months nothing is going to happen because they are aiming too high. I don't get it. I don't get it either.
Yeah, they want to make two steps instead of one at once.
But
or
in the
or
case of SpaceX, we understand. But this
yeah,
is
they
just
so the time is shorter, even shorter for them, and of course NASA is knocking their back from behind. Okay, guys, what's going on with the HLS, for example, and how do you proceeding with the Starship program? Because for the Artemis 3, lots of things will be required. So not to mention the orbital refueling system. So there
yep.
wasn't any orbital test flights yet. So they were suborbital flights, and that's why SpaceX tried to pushing it very hard to get even faster and shorter distance or shorter pace between flights. But if the bureaucracy doesn't allow it, then yeah, of course we don't know anything or everything what's going on in behind these
Scenes.
topics, the
Yep.
behind the scenes. Yes, so of course, we know that SpaceX is not 100% clear with everything, and they have done lots of bad things previously. Just not to mention the Flight 1 or IFT-1. So what was going on there, and of course it's unacceptable how the this whole area looked like after the Flight 1.
You can
And
dig a hole in a different way. You don't need to use 33 Raptor engines, right?
yeah, so of course SpaceX has to listen to the agencies. So, and of course their SpaceX has to be um, how could I say, so SpaceX has have their own rules, I would say, but they have to. There are some rules which, of course, SpaceX has to follow. So they can't go on totally different way, because then the other agents, other companies could say, okay, then we have another way to go further and further. So why are the agencies actually existing? So and that's why the regulations are still existing. And also all the American companies need actually to be regulated, because otherwise there would be an anarchy. So um, yeah, on one
Um,
hand it's the bureaucracy is good. On the other hand, it's not good, even these kind of problems that with this this hot staging ring. So let me ask that, why
nah,
is
that's
it
too much.
better?
That's too much.
Yeah,
That's too
that's
much what's
that's
going on
totally
there.
insane that a 10 tons of a 9-meter ring is why worse than a totally an entire first stage to be fallen back to the
It's
ocean
it's
or the Gulf.
obviously it's not. It's just the location that is changes where it's gonna splash down. How can it be an issue, right? It's
Yeah,
gonna
so
splash down a couple of miles more closer to the shores.
so
And so,
the Gulf of Mexico is quite huge. So
yeah.
it wouldn't
Um,
fallen back to the mainland. I would say so. Why this is a problem, I just can't understand.
Um, I was listening to a podcast on the weekend called Miko, and the host was having Andy Lapsa from Stoke Space, and he was actually mentioning they started chatting about Starship, and Andy was saying that actually it's a very under-talked issue or topic, how the refueling is going to happen, because
Yes.
this is so difficult. And
Mhm.
again, I reserve the right to be wrong. It's SpaceX, so probably they just gonna prove us all wrong. But that's a huge, massive task, and we're not even close to that.
Mhm.
Radu in the chat is saying, how are they aiming to too high? Yeah, I think an O is missed. How they are aiming too high if the whole goal of the Starship is to be able to recover the booster in the order of refuel in orbit. I agree with you, but what's going on right now is basically they cannot they cannot raise the bar for themselves to go and catch the booster, but in the same time, they're not even launching anything. And I think that's wrong. They should be able to launch the already obsolete two sets of Block 1 full stack. And then once Ship 33 is ready, the new generation
The
Block
block
2
two. Yeah.
version, then they can go even further. I know the booster is changing as well. So why to sit on your hands right now and wait and blame everybody else for the inaction? I don't understand. If I would be SpaceX, which I'm not, and probably that's a good thing, I would just launch it right now. I don't care. Okay, let's repeat Flight 4 version 2 or point 1, or I don't know, obviously, just a continuation. The same thing. Let's see how the ablative shielding is working out. What's the effect on it? Let's see if strengthening the hinges around the hinges with the heat tiles, is it going to help with the degradation? How the booster can land on water? Let's repeat it. Why to wait? Why the hell to wait? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm just checking the chat because I want to have some good interaction with the chat.
There is one more question from Dumpster Diner, that where is the hostaging ring coming down? Somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico.
Well, because the flight profile is going to be similar to Flight 4. Again, it's going to separate shortly after the engine
The boost after the boost back burn of
pushback
the
burn.
booster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the engine
So
cut off.
around in the Gulf of Mexico, but of course, very not in the near distance of the land. So it will be much safer than anything else. The other parts of the booster, which is coming actually back to the launch site, of course. But the hostaging ring would splash down in the water far from the land,
Yep.
and it wouldn't harm anything.
Also, Dumpster Diner is asking, why didn't SpaceX file for an upgraded license to return the booster and catch it ages ago if that was always their goal? I think as soon as they made up their mind and they went for it, they did. They did file a request for approval.
And just one sentence, that I guess they changed their plans after the flights. So they waited. They waited for the results of each of the flights, and the flight 4 was quite successful, and that's why they have changed their minds or the plans. That okay, or they tried to catch the booster 12 already on the flight 5, not on the flight 6 or 7 or 8 or anything else. But yeah, so that's why it's a kind of a tricky play what SpaceX plays, because they don't know what's going on for to that second next flight, because they are waiting all the time of the results for the next flight. And based on the results, they can change the plans. But on the other side, there are the regulations and the agencies which are quite strict, and that's a good point to be strict, because SpaceX has to learn that they just can't play like that. That okay, just let's try to catch a booster, a 70-meter booster, and let's see what happens. So it's not going like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are not dictating. Radu is saying the launch is pretty expensive and the point is to gather data in order to improve the design. I agree with you. Again, still flying a hardware is still better than not flying a hardware, especially when you have two almost completely ready. One is, according to SpaceX, ready to fly, and the other one is, I think, within arm's reach to get ready to fly. So, anyway, I mean, we agree to disagree, and that's a good thing, because we want to hear your opinion about this topic, that how you think about and feel about this, because it's definitely dividing opinions within the community, let alone in the public. And I think it's great. And since we are all just, we are in the cinema watching the film, we have no impact on what's going to happen. I think it's we are in a perfect position. We are really curious that how this situation is going to unfold and getting resolved. It's interesting.
Yeah, for us, the enthusiasts, it's a very bad news that we have to still wait at
Hmm.
least 2 months, and I guess it won't be shortened, only a couple of weeks. But so far, it looks like that not even in September, but we in October there won't be any launches,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
Unless something epic change is gonna happen. Yeah, but we think it's not gonna.
Okay, if there will be a 180 degrees turn
Yeah,
of the situation, of course, there miracle can happen all the time. But
exactly.
so currently, the situation looks like the Flight 5 can come no earlier than late November.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I think this was us, Space Junkie, the Space Junkie team for this week. Thank you very much to stay with us. There was just one more chat coming in. Totally disagree about the regulations being good. They are quote unquote good. They are old, outdated, and are showing firsthand yet again how inefficient the government is. Um, I mean, again, when it comes to this topic, we are all torn because on one hand, you're absolutely right, but SpaceX cannot dictate the regulations. It's not like they can do willy nilly what they want because they are SpaceX. I'm sorry, but they have to obey certain regulations. Regulations should be renewed and rethought, absolutely, but still SpaceX cannot just do whatever the heck they want because they just want to do it. I'm sorry. SN11, they just went for it and then they were crying out that, oh, they didn't have the license and they launched it. Then why the heck did you launch it?
Yes.
It's
So of
simple
course
as that.
we know that FAA has to grow up for the new pace of what SpaceX showing for us and for the world week by week. But I wouldn't say that regulations are bad. The way of the regulations has to be matched with the goals and the national interest, of course, of the United States and the NASA itself and SpaceX itself.
Exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, these are kind hard topics, and maybe this topic should require a totally different show, and not
Yeah.
not to not to not okay. So I finished my
Anyway,
sentence. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
The good thing is that, and then after that we finish the show.
yeah,
SpaceX is bringing in. Actually, I point back again to the Miko podcast because Andy Lapsa was also saying, Stock Space. Andy Lapsa was also mentioning that in the 60s they were blowing up a heck of a lot of hardware, and NASA has completely forgot that to reach your goals, they didn't just go to the moon by accident. They were testing hard, and SpaceX brought back today to the rocket industry this hard testing sort of architecture. And yes, now there's a new situation, and it will, the regulations will adjust to the current situation, to SpaceX, and hopefully there will be much more companies like SpaceX who are pushing the boundaries, and then the regulatory system must change. And I agree with Radu. He says I think bad regulation is better than no regulation. You wouldn't want anarchy. I think that's a perfect
yeah, that's why I'm
end.
saying as well.
Yeah, it's a perfect end to the show. Thank you very much for your insightful comments in the chat, guys. Also, we see you next week, and hopefully, we can have better news next week. Take care of yourself. Have a lovely week, and we meet you next week. Right?
Yes, we'll see you next time, and thanks for your nice attention, kind attention, and we'll see each other next Monday.
Okay. Take care,
Take
guys.
care.
Have a lovely week. See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.